Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy 3 Stacks in this thing. Representing Team King of Games, of course. All day, every day, baby. Today we're gonna go over another variation. I don't know how many variations I've done at this point. It's kind of becoming like how I work on my heralds. It's more or less like different variants of True Draco and Invoked, but I'm always trying to check it out. I like the two engines. They're really powerful. They have a lot of interference. And I like to play on my opponent's turn, which is why I really enjoy this deck right now. It just spams powerful boss monsters consistently. They just replace themselves one-on-one. But what I wanted to do is change the deck to actually be a lot more aggro, because I need to be able to keep up with the speed and consistency of the new decks. If spirals don't get hit on the ban list, like, we're gonna have to, be a lot more aggro at that point. Because we're going to be playing in a tier 0 format, and in order to basically counteract all of the explosiveness of these other decks, I wanted to play an engine that I knew was really powerful, really consistent, and always gave me a follow-up. So I decided to actually incorporate an ABC engine into my main deck, and what I did was, instead of main decking evenly matched board wipes and a lot more hand traps, I basically took out all my going second cards and put in an engine that's beautifully powerful for going first, and also gives me, consistent access to my field spells a lot more, I guess rapidly. Like, I have more targets and more ways to get to diagram than ever before. I really like it a lot. It's ABC True Draco Invoked, and I like the way that the deck works. Like, when I played it today, it was just like going off. Like, I was summoning Decode Talker, Buster, Masterpiece. One game I actually literally opened up with Decode Talker, Mecha Buster, and summon Masterpiece in my opponent's main phase. This dude literally scooped. And the top of the loft to add insult with injury, I had double diagram plays. I already had a Masterpiece, so I ended up searching for return. Then on the second diagram, I searched for the True Draco Apocalypse and kept it in my hand, and I didn't negate anything with Mecha. I was waiting for that evenly match to see if he'd drop it so I can negate it with Mecha and really have him scoop, but he didn't have the evenly match. Dude still scooped. Deck's insane. I want to go first. Before I wanted to go second. Now, like, I've seen the new Pendulum Magicians go off, and I actually have the deck. Like, I playtest it. I'm not sure if I want to play it or not. But I just want to learn its weaknesses and its strengths, and when a deck goes first, it's just insane. So, like, when you get the chance, you want to go first, and you want to open up with a way to shut them down and shut spirals down. So we're going to show you the main deck list. Let's hop right into this. First off, with monsters, 2 copies of Masterpiece, just insane, dude. Card's still powerful. When you're playing Invoked Engine and cards like ABC Buster, it protects Masterpiece even more. Like, if they try to purple poison, you either banish it with Buster, or you negate and banish the activation of Purple Poison's monster effect with your Mecha. So it's pretty easy to protect him as long as you protect your towers. Like, he's practically invincible. We have 3 copies of Mr. Crowley. Mr. Crowley is just insane. No matter what, the 1-card engine is just way too consistent. Like, I understand that there are decks out there that can, like, bait out Mecha and stuff like that. But the thing is, like, they always lose resources to it, and this is like a never-ending thing. Like, every turn I get it popping, so I really like it. And playing now with the ABC engine and being able to summon a lot more rapidly from my extra deck, I'm actually able to, like, normally in this deck before I would make Mecha, and he naturally would live when I protect him when hand traps, strikes, and there'd be a Masterpiece in the middle of it. They normally go for the Masterpiece after they bait the Mecha's negate. With this deck, your Decode protects everything. Your Buster is insane. It gives you fodder for Decode, and your Mecha, it gets protected by all of these cards. So when your Mecha lives, you normal Alistair next turn, you make another fusion that suits the situation, or another Mecha and just make calamities. The Invoked engine is even more powerful than ever before. Having the normal summon for your Destrudo plays is insane as well. For the ABCs, we're just playing 2 of each. Like, I'm playing 2 of each. I was thinking about playing 3 Bs, because, like, it's really important to open up with at least one of these in your hand when you're doing the combo for, like, Destrudo, because what I like to do is I like to use Ancient Fairy to special B and equip C, and I'll always put B as Chainlink 2 and C as Chainlink 1, and you kind of, like, have to have a piece in hand to do it that way. Unless you literally, like, you already opened up, let's say, for example, with the right piece. Like, let's say, oh, we already have, let's say, like, we have B in hand or something like that. then we can just go, you know, A and then C, and then just use C's effect and not A's effect, and then special the B, or vice versa. But if you have the wrong piece in hand, you kind of like, for example, if you have a B, or if you open up with like a C, like you're gonna have to go in that order, B and then C, to search out the piece that you need, and then special summon it. No matter what, B always has to be there, which is pretty darn impressive how he works. But I just like the 2, 2, and 2. These cards are really, really powerful. I've been able to like use these in a majorly different way, equipping these not only to Buster but also to invoke Mechaba, because he's a light machine. Like I was doing that a lot today, just making him unaffected by monsters. And for the Pendulum Magician matchup, you want to make your Buster and your Mechaba either unaffected by traps, depending on the situation, or even monsters, or both, for the Baguska and the trap. Because if they're unaffected by monsters, Baguska can't touch them. They don't lose their effects. And this makes sure that the trap can only hit the C, so that, you know, like they can't target the actual monster. So it's pretty cool. And if they do pop it, they get their effects off. So I like the ABC engine, just the 6 monsters. So this literally was like 3 evenly matched Draco, Raigeki, and there's like a lot more hand traps. And then for the win conditions, so like these cards, they seem like bricks in your hand. This actually is live like all the time. Not only do you play 9 normal summons, but you play field spells and terraformings that search out the normal summon. So the Strudel's like never dead in this deck. He's just amazing. Even when you draw him without Dragon's Ravine, like you'll naturally draw. If you play so many field spells, you'll like draw him a level 4 in a field spell. Like you've got a lot going for yourself, especially if one of those normal summons is an Alistair. And Mariamne, because this deck plays the Ravines now, Dragon's Ravine gives you instant access to Draconic Diagram. So a card like this is live a lot more often, and it just makes your board a lot more powerful. You summon it off with the return. You're able to make, you know, True King of all calamities and just win more. It's a really, really nice one-of. I'm thinking about bumping it because, like, how often you get your diagrams, like, I'm like, dude, I wish I had cards like this in my hand a lot more, but it's still a really, really good card. And for the hand traps, it's not as crazy as it used to be. Like I said, I actually cut my hand traps, like all my going second power, for you know, just a really, really strong engine that gives me a consistent grind game and also allows me to kill my opponent. Like I can't let other decks live for more than a turn now. That was the problem with my Invoked Draco deck. It was like really, really stun, control, poke, negate, poke, negate, and just try to kill you within the duration of 3 or 4 turns. With this deck, like, I just don't want them to live. That's why I like the ABC engine. Because, like, when you tag out with Buster, they're going to die next turn. Unless, like, they evenly match you. You know, like, that's what they have to do. Even if they play through the A, B, and C on field, they go to grave. They get all their effects off. You get to summon 2 Busters. So, 1 Buster could be the bait. And the other Buster will come out. Like, it's just really, really strong. I need to kill them. So the hand trap lineup is a little bit smaller. It's just 3 over 3 Ash and 1 Max E. But I also like these because when you open up with the combo, when you open up with the nuts, like Decode, Buster, and Mechaba, and then you have Ash, a Ogre, or even Max E, like it almost guarantees your victory because you give them too much to play around on field, and then you hand trap them, and it's like, dang, you know, it puts them really far behind. So I just like cards like that. Like, even if I could just stall for 1 turn, that's all I really need to do is to kill my opponent. That's why I really love the tag out of Buster, because it puts monsters on field to make sure that, for one, you can't OTK me, and in order to even get through these monsters, you have to trigger their effects and give me a lot of advantage to set up for next turn. It's a really, really awesome engine. For the field spells, oh, every time I see these comments, it makes my balls hurt. Like, I really need super Dragon's Ravines, but 3 Dragon's Ravine, this is honestly the best field spell in the deck. Naturally, when you resolve this with the level 4, it's really, really insane. As long as you have a piece in hand, you can make the Decode Buster. And what I like to do is, if I open with this and like a set rotation or terraforming, then like I like to go for Meltdown. Unless I already drew Alistair, but I like to use Alistair for my normal summon and then do the Destrudo combo, then search Union Hanger and then special summon the monster that I search off Union Hanger with Ancient Fairy and go off with that way so I can at least get the Mechaba on field and like if you have like another card like Diagram or just another Terraforming, like you want to use that, pop it and search for True Draco Apocalypse or Return to guarantee that your opponent can't evenly match your board so you win. It's really, really awesome how the deck goes off, and it's like it's an interesting build. I know ABC Invoked exists, I know ABC Draco exists, but I wanted to like have so many different lines of play. Like the Union Hanger would get ashed, and I'll just slap a Meltdown on top, and then like I would just normal summon Alistair instead of just like normal summoning the piece I have in hand, realizing, you know what, like there's a different line of play I can make. Or like the Dragon's Ravine would get Ash, and I'd be like, oh, okay. So then like I'll just like, or I'll even normal summon my Alistair to bait the Ash, because they want to Ash the Alistair. They think I'm playing Invoked hand traps. They Ash the Alistair, and then you play Dragon's Ravine, and you go Destrudo, you Synchro using the Alistair, and then you go Union Hanger and special. And it's just like crazy. Like you can bait, and it's like they don't really understand like what your deck is. A lot of games I was holding off of my diagram unless I would like sometimes I would just use it just to search out a trap for Mecha to negate evenly match. And then sometimes I'll use it to search out a spell. Like if I end with all monsters in my hand, I'll just use it to search out the True Draco spell for Mecha to be able to negate like purple poison activation or something like that. Just anything, you know, even the desires. Like I just like that the diagram was not only an extender, but it gave me the delicious fodder that I needed for my Mecha to have options instead of just only monsters. And of course, you know, diagram still makes masterpiece, but sometimes like when you have the choice to make masterpiece, you don't always do that. It's just like, it just depends the matchup. Like Pendulum Magicians, I would only make masterpiece if I can get a Mecha next to it. If it's just masterpiece by itself, it's not smart because they could play around it with relative ease. But diagram was an insane extender, you know, just popping the monster that you equip off Union Hanger, guaranteeing your first turn buster. If you open with like you know, Union Hanger diagram, like a piece for ABCs and a piece for masterpiece, like one of the spells or the trap or masterpiece itself, you can make, you know, your buster masterpiece. But I feel like the better board is Decode, Buster, and Mecha. I like it a lot more. It just gives your opponent more to play around, and like there was a lot of games where I would open up with that board, but I'd still summon masterpiece on their main phase and just made it like, dude, how are you supposed to play around this? And then 3 Optimus Prime. You have 4 different field spells, so you have like a lot of options. Meltdown, I'm really debating whether I play a second of the card. I just like opening up with like Meltdown and Destrudo, or like Meltdown and the Union Hang, the Dragon's Ravine. Like I really need to open up with Alistair, and this like it's another copy of Alistair. So like I'm debating, because even though you play 3 Optimus Prime, like there's so many options in this deck. Like this spell is so good. Like this spell actually wins you your duels. Like a lot of the times it wins you your games. But I'm really debating on playing another one of this, because I just don't like wasting a terraforming on this, even though it's not necessarily a waste, because like this was Dragon's Ravine. If you have like a level 4, like you've really got it. Not even a level 4 if you have a card to discard, because this will get you the level 4 that you want, which is Alistair. But yeah, the 3 Optimus Primes to search one of the 4 field spells. And then one set rotation, of course, it's an auto out to evenly match. Now my deck actually can lose to evenly match. Before it couldn't because it didn't commit a lot. But if I tag out preemptively, for example, if I'm scared of Kaijus, evenly match is a card now. Like, it's good. But in game 1s, I normally don't tag out with Buster until the end phase, unless it's literally in trouble. Like, they target it to try to kill it, then I'll tag out. But it's, other than being like an evenly matched auto like out, it's just insane. They're not, every deck's gonna be playing field spells. Like I know Pendulum Magicians don't, but Spyro still do, and so do Trickstars. So it helps in that sense. And also, it's just like another target. Like it's just, you play 4 extra copies of every field spell, and you can actually look at it like you play 7 extra copies of every field spell, because all Dragon's Ravine does is get you a field spell with Ancient Fairy on field. And then the other spells are just one-offs: 1 True Draco Heritage, 1 Invocation, and 1 copy of Raigeki. Honestly, I wanted to side deck the Raigeki because like I always want to go first, but I actually had to just decide to main it to fit in 1 more card in my my side deck. And my side deck is almost purely for going second, whereas before in the past, my main deck was purely for going second, and my side deck barely had any cards for going first. So my going first boards were kind of like, it was like Mecha and sometimes Mecha Masterpiece, but I didn't like it because like when they were able to play through it, I would be left with so little resources. Whereas with this deck, even if they play through my board, like the Buster gets me so much advantage that next turn, not only can I summon Buster, but I got a lot of like fodder off of the A, B, and C's. It's just really, really dope. So that's pretty much it for the spells. All your spells are amazing. I'm not playing Disciples currently because like I was realizing, like, just off of the experience that I've accumulated playing this deck, that my duels don't last long enough And also, I don't even play a lot of targets for the True Draco engine. Like, I play the masterpieces, the Mariamne, and the spells and traps. The spells and traps always get banished. So, like, I would literally have to have, like, double masterpiece and a Mariamne for the disciples. Like, before, you know, it was different because I was playing True Draco Invoked, and duels did last longer because I wasn't able to OTK, but with this deck, like, you OTK, so it doesn't come up all the time. And it was just, like, a one-of that was good, but sometimes it was like a Garnet. But I might play it in the future, who knows. It depends on how duels, like, how long they actually last. And then 3 strikes, I'm actually main decking the anti-spells, because like I said, I want to go first. And I just want to open up with my combo. Like, I want to get Decode, Buster, and something else. Like, my boards are always Decode, Buster, and something else. Like, Decode, Buster, Masterpiece, Decode, Buster, Mechaba. Sometimes, like, when you open up right, you can actually go, instead of Buster, like, if you don't want to do it right now, you could do, Decode and Baguska, and that's still pretty powerful, too. Like, if you have a Floodgate, like, if you open Decode, Baguska, plus Anti-Spell, like, Pinland Magicians automatically lose, because they can't trigger their purple poison because their monsters can't attack. And then you have protection from targeting. It's really cool. Like, you just want to open up with amazing boards, plus a strike, or an Anti-Spell, and or both, for not only Pinland Magicians, but also Spirals lose really hard to Anti-Spell. And Strike, if you hit the right card, like, sometimes if I have Ash for double Helix, I'll save the Strike for the summon of Sleeper if they have a Sleeper. So, like, these help you to make sure that you guarantee your victory. And then one of each of the trap. There have been games where I actually was able to use the Apocalypse to half in damage step, so my Masterpiece wouldn't get destroyed by battle, but the purple poison still popped my diagram nonetheless. And it comes up sometimes, but I play 1-1 because the only Draco monster I play is Masterpiece, and naturally, like, you summon him once or maybe even twice a duel, so you don't need to play a lot of, like, continuous spells and traps to summon him. You just need to play, like, targets to actually pop with his effect, and you don't really need to get a lot of pops, but, you know, anti-spell still is fodder. That's the main deck. It's really savage. I like it a lot. I'm actually gonna take it to a couple events and see how it does. I'm still on the fence of playing, you know, this or just playing Pinland Magicians because they're so darn fun. Not only are they a great deck, but they're actually fun. To me, Spirals are, I don't know, dude, like, just a different breed. The extra deck is 3 Busters. I was thinking about playing 2, but, like, 3 is just a necessity. It comes up a lot. Like, your first Buster is your tag out. Your first Buster basically is to put the pressure on board. It basically says either kill all these pieces and my Decode Talker, and then after you kill all those, OTK me, or next turn, I'm going to get you. And the second Buster, the third Buster comes up because, like, the first Buster gets you your tag out, right? And it makes sure that you get all, like, off of my first Buster tag out, when I do it right, I get 2 playsets, 2 A's, 2 B's, and 2 C's in grave or hand, where I can special off C and then get them on field. And then the second Buster, like, if it gets answered to, like, a Time Pendulum Graph, a Strike, anything, that's where, like, it's a bait, and you have the second playset, so you could just banish those and then summon the third Buster once you've, and this is an incredible bait. So, like, that's how I was like, man, as much as I want to play, like, you know, 2 Busters, I was like, I really, really have to, I have to play the 3 Busters. And today I was actually playing the Cyframe package, the Cyframe Gammas. I decided to take them out for the time being, just toying around with different things, seeing how the meta goes. So this is actually supposed to be my Ancient Fairy. Not my Ancient Fairy. Oh yeah, my Black Rose. They have the same sleeves. So yeah, we're gonna continue with the fusions. 2 Mechaba. I actually should be playing 3. I'm gonna definitely bump this card up to 3 in this list because, like, 2 of my games, my Mechaba lived, and I made a second Mechaba because, thank God for being able to make links in this deck. It helps out so much. Overlaid them for True King of all Chlamydia, and the 3rd Mechaba came up. Like, where it's like, dang, you know, even though I don't need it, it was like, it would, just in case that board didn't win, the Alistair needs to get a valuable play. And, like, I was like, man, I really should have been playing 3 of this card. So this is going to go to 3. So you should play 3 Buster, 3 Mechaba. Best cards in your extra deck. And they also give you synergy with the A, B, and C's because they equip to these. Make them unaffected by practically anything. Like, you can make invincible boss monsters. And it's just incredible. Like, there's not enough Kaijus in the world. 1 Purgatrio and 1 Kaliga. I really want to play this one right here, my Raijin. But the problem with Raijin for next format is, like, it's not going to do enough. Like it's not like even in spirals, like this is not good in spirals at all because they have resort to protect. And like unless you like kill their resort, then like yeah, you can like book a moon one, but they have like so many extenders they can still get another spiral on board. So it doesn't like beat spirals. It kind of low key beats trick stars. It beats like rogue decks like BAs. So it was like a side deck extra deck option, but it's not really good against Pendulum Magicians. Like in theory it should be good because like they are normal like Joker and special like a Graph Sorcerer, or you know do the Dragon Ravine combo, Dragon Shrine. And then, like, you'll book a monster, and then they can't make Electrum. But, like, even if they can't make Electrum, they're still playing Pendulum Magicians. They'll just summon Harmonizing, summon a monster from extra deck, and then make Omega Baguska. And then at that point, this is just like, eh. So that's why I'm not playing it. And plus, like, there's not very many people giving me the win target. So I like this one because my deck, it can OTK, like, out of nowhere. So a card like this that can just stall for one turn and make sure that you can't, like, kill me, because you only get one monster effect, and I can always damage step Alistair this. It's really, really impressive. It's just like, it's like skill drain on legs, because like I play Ash and I play Ogre, I play Strike, stuff like that. Like, and you know, like the Buster can make certain things just like, it's insane. Like it basically says like you can't activate any more monster effects, including hand traps. You can only attack with one, and then like this naturally it lives because you protect it with so many different layers like Decode, Buster, and also Alistair from hand and the Solemn Strikes. Like it just lives, and it just makes it so like they can't do their combo. They can't even do Electrum because like they have to use at least one monster effect to summon Electrum. So like if they don't know how the card works, they're gonna make Electrum like a retard, and then like they're just Pendulum summon and that's it, and they'll pass, and then next turn you just kill them. So I like this card a lot, and they play the darks to give me for the targets. And you can always overlay it for a rank force, which I don't even play any rank force except Baguska. That needs to change. Extra deck is Decode, Proxy. This card is not legal. I actually, this is what it was. It was a binary sorceress, because like for my Ancient Fairy combo, I don't like wasting proxies. I only have one proxy, so I'll link the Ancient Fairy and like the ABC piece that I summoned off the Union Hanger, you know, in Ancient Fairy combo. Link, make this, and then make Decode. But like since I pulled these, I was like, you know what? As soon as it's legal, I'm gonna start playing this card, because like it actually, when you can stop mid combo, it leaves you with an extra deck slot, so you can still summon Buster or Mechaba, like with Link 2s like this, and you can't do Akashic because Ancient Fairy and an ABC are not the same type. Like links like this force you to stop completely, even if you have all your ABC pieces engraved. Like you would have to have a diagram to clear this out your extra monster zone, then summon Buster. And you're not always going to have it, or you would have already used it by then. So this card's pretty good. I do want to play like another Decode. Like the extra deck's so tight, but I wish I could play like more of this, like another Mechaba, and then like more rank 4s. And then Akashic's just amazing. It's really, really good. True King of all Chlamydia, this is not mandatory, it's optional. But the fact that my deck can make it so easily, and also that almost every deck automatically loses to this, except maybe like Paleozoic. Like it's way too good. Even Pendulum Magicians, their Purple Poison can't hit this because they can't declare an attack. And sure, they can search out their trap, but the thing is, all I'm doing is stalling you from one turn. Like I'm just stalling you for one turn so I can kill you next turn. And this gives me exactly that. Like it turns all your monster effects off. And monsters in your possession, meaning everywhere, they can't activate. So you can't double Iris search the trap. You can't Electrum. You can't Purple Poison. You can't do anything. You have to Duelist Alliance, try to get the trap, and pray I don't Ash Blossom you. True King of all Chlamydia is just amazing. Syphilis, you know, these are like a package deal. They're brothers. I like them a lot. They both do the same thing, but this one's way better because it stops links. And then the Strudo cards. Like I said, I was playing Gammas and Omega today. I didn't resolve Gamma not one time today. In theory, it was supposed to be amazing because Dragon's Ravine, and like basically all my field spells that weren't Meltdown were insane, amazing hand trap bait. Like maybe they wouldn't want to Ash Union Hanger because they know like you can still normal and equip, but they definitely, if they have a response to Dragon's Ravine, they want to do that because you have to discard for cost. So they're thinking, oh, I'm going to Asher over the Dragon's Ravine and put him at a -2 and leave him with 3 cards in hand. And I would do that. That's similar to Ash Blossoming Pendulum Call. They lose a card plus the one that they activate. So it's like a -2 for your opponent. So in theory, it's supposed to be good. Like when I Dragon's Ravine, pitch for cost, and they hand trap, and then I make Omega, then I really win, like overdone. But it just like, it didn't come up. Maybe I will play Gammas again in the main deck in the future. Who knows? But yeah, I was playing Omega today. I should have been playing Black Rose because Black Rose came up a lot, and I was angry that I wasn't playing it in my extra deck. I could have won more duels just by playing Black Rose. The side deck is like so just speculatory right now. It's pure speculation. I don't know what's set in stone right now, but I know these for sure. And then the Dark Hole, the Kaiju package got smaller to make room. And like I said, this deck OTKs like crazy. So cards like Joel and Lockbird and Effect Veiler, which are going to be amazing next format, believe it or not, they just help me to stall. Like, even if a Magician player can play through this, they have to play under it, and it restricts them from searching off of Double Iris, Duelist Alliance. It stops them from searching off of Astrograph Sorcerer. So they still make their board, but with less resources, and it's a very, very low chance that they're going to draw the one. They're playing one-time Pendulum Graph, so they hard drew it. That's like drawing Maxi, you know. So, like, Droll stops them from getting to the trap. The trap is interference that I don't want to play through, but I can't afford to play through it. Any of my field spells are bait for the trap. It also stops them from getting Harmonizing if they didn't hard draw it. So it makes a lot of their plays mediocre, and I like that because it's easier for me to OTK them. So Droll's pretty awesome for this particular build. In my True Draco Invoked build without AVCs, it wasn't that good because like it would like kind of slow them down, but like my deck was already slow, so it didn't really help. And the Veilers are actually for the Electrum and for the Harmonizing Magician. But if Spirals don't get hit, I don't know if I'm going to side Veilers. That's all I'm saying. Like, this is pure speculation right now. Spell Shattering Arrows. This is still good right now because Sleeper targets itself. You just chain Spell Shattering, destroy the Last Resort, the Spiral Resort, and whatever else they had, if they had it. And Sleeper actually kills itself now. And all my field spells are bait for Sleeper, which is pretty cool. Or you could just make Alistair and Mechaba and then play your powerful field spells and then just negate and banish Sleeper. But this makes Sleeper kill their entire field. So like you burn them for 1,000 and it becomes like a Dark Hole or Raigeki that burns your opponent for 1,000. It's really good, especially playing in time. I might bump it to 3, especially for next format, because like you can play this on standby against Finland Magicians, and normally they go Omega Baguska or something like that, so they don't leave any Magician monsters on the field. So if you Spell Shattering their scales preemptively on standby, you turn their trap off. Like you don't want to chain to the trap because it'll just send something to the graveyard. You actually just want to activate it like preemptively on standby, kill their scales right away, even if it's a purple poison, even if it's a double iris, so their trap is off, and that way you don't have that interference. Because if the trap is off and you can get through the Baguska, which is pretty easy considering how easy this deck makes links, like you can make a decode like nobody's business and just attack the Baguska. The trap's gone, like you're gonna win now. Because like they can't use the trap on your Buster, and even if Buster like can chain, like you can't do that if Baguska's on the field. And then double dimensional barrier, this is something else that might have to go up to 3. But I'm main decking the anti spells over the evenly matched because like I want to go first. But if I was trying to go second, I would simply main deck these inside like the anti spells. But I want to have those cheap, cheesy automatic wins because I have Mechaba plus anti-spell, and you know, even though they're like, oh, purple poison's my auto out to anti-spell, I'm like, not with Mechaba on the field. And yeah, that's pretty much the deck profile, you guys. It's very in-depth. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for your patience. I'm definitely going to be fulfilling a lot of requests, and within the next 2 or 3 days, I gotta do a lot of work, but I just wanted to showcase this today because it seemed like a really, really awesome idea, and I hope you guys do like it. Test it out for yourself. It's actually really, really consistent. It's basically like playing field spells and winning. You guys make good choices. Don't hurt your brain cells. Stay tuned for future content. We're actually going to showcase you full power Pendulum Magician, full power Vendreads, and maybe something else before I go to sleep. But yeah, you guys, I'm going to just go ahead and move to the next video.